Alright YouTube, so today I have what I hope will be a very informative and interesting video for you guys, because today we're working on my GS300 that I'm currently in the process of doing a manual swap on. Now I'm using an R154 transmission from a late model Toyota Chaser, and I'll put like a kind of picture over it right now so you guys can have an idea of exactly what I'm talking about. Notable things about it: it has a tripod shifter, and it uses more like modern mount and stuff like that. But I want to give you guys a breakdown of important things that you guys need to know if you guys are thinking about doing any kind of manual swap on a GS300 or any old Lexus for that matter. And just kind of tell you guys things that I wish I knew beforehand, or little things that I found out in the process to make it as easy as possible. So without a doubt, without further ado, we're gonna hop into the interior. I'm gonna start breaking down things I found for you guys. Okay, so right now, as you can tell, my interior is kind of gutted. I went ahead, took out both the passenger and driver seats. If you're doing this, realistically, you only take out the driver's seat. It makes it way easier, and you will need to take out your entire center console, no matter what. That has to go. Now, if you're doing a proper manual swap, important things you need to know. There is a company called Heat Lightning Speed Shop. They sell very important parts. They sell the handbrake kit, so you can bolt an Gs300 handbrake onto your car. And they also sell a clutch pedal kit. I don't have it installed just yet, but it uses the stock mounting holes for the actual parking brake. So the idea behind this, you can have a clutch pedal and have an actual fully functional handbrake up here that uses only existing holes to mount in. That's something important. Two is that if you're using an R154 with the tripod transmission in particular, you are going to need to cut very far along into this. I haven't gone in around actually cutting it just yet, but as you can tell, it's quite a few inches inward, and on top of that, it's kind of bulged up a little bit when you put the tripod on it. So you're gonna have to sawzall or death wheel, however you want to do it, a few inches into this. I'm not exactly sure yet, but we're gonna figure that out. As well, you're also gonna need to cut into your AC vent that's running through here, because there's an AC vent that runs from the front of the car to the back seats. So you either A, get rid of it, or B, you just kind of notch it in a little bit. So for the interior, that's pretty much all you need to know. For the majority, again, that company, Heat Lightning Speed Shop, sells the parts you need. You're going to need those. If you want it to be as easy as possible, do yourself the favor, pay the money, buy them. I don't even know these dudes. I just like the product. They're TIG welded, or MIG welded. I don't even know how they welded them, to be honest. But they're very solid. They're good. And from there, when you have these kits, like for this one example, it comes with everything except for the cable. So I still have to get a new cable, which is why I haven't gone around to put in the clutch pedal yet. But oh, why isn't it spinning around? Oh, my hand was covering the screen. So, those are important things for the interior. So you want to use those companies to get around to actually using the little bits and pieces that make it a little bit easier. And for the actual transmission of itself, something that's worth noting is that unless you're doing something mild, like you're doing a turbo or intend to do anything over like 400 horsepower, with either a W58 or a R154. In my case, I'm using an R154 as I mentioned. You really don't need to worry about doing all the extra lightweight flywheel or stage 1 clutch or stage 2 clutch and all that stuff. For instance, like a stock 1JZ clutch is able to handle like 350 pound-feet of torque up to that level, which is a lot of fucking power. But all due respect. So yeah, you don't need to worry about all that. Especially since I'm using a stock 2J, it's not a concern for me. I'm using a bone stock clutch, a brand new one, of course. Drift Motion provided it. Well, I bought it from them. But something that's really important that I really wanted to share with you guys, because I found it the hard way right now, it has to do with the mounting situation for the in my case, I'm using R154, but this is also the exact same mount that would come with like a W58 in a late model SC300 or an MK4 Supra. So this is the stock mount that came on the car or on the trans. This is the mount you'd get from, let's say, Drift Motion or any other company like that. Notice how it has different mounting holes. This has 2 holes in parallel. This has 2 holes staggered off. Now, the R154 has any model R154, or I'm pretty sure W58s as well. They have provisions to use both mounting holes. So they have 4 blank holes, and you can choose whichever ones you want to use. So, I made the mistake of buying an R154 kit or mount kit from Drift Motion. As you can tell, I didn't know exactly what I was doing. I just want to make sure I had all the parts ready to go. So it comes with these parallel holes. Now this mount is significantly taller, than the stock one. So the way they get around it is that when you have the cross member, you also need to put these spacers on this, and it comes with longer bolts. The idea is that since it has a longer part, since the mount in and of itself is taller, these things make up for it, puts it at right back angle. But the very important part, let me pause this, people come back. But the important part to this is that what you need to know is that if you buy one of these kits, you will have to drill out holes, because you can tell it comes with 2 holes, or 2 bolts, and a stock cross member has 4. So if you're going to go this way, you need to remember that you need to drill holes in this. However, something that I learned in the process that makes this completely negligible is that if you have this mount from, again, either an RM54 from an MK4 Supra or a Toyota Chaser with the offset bolts, that's how you tell the difference. It has offset bolts because it'll have 4 bolts going through. It fits right up. I have not modified this cross member whatsoever. It goes right through. The bolts are long enough, they go right through, and it fits perfectly. So this is something important that I wish I knew beforehand, and I have never heard of this actually happening. So I was literally astonished when I was like, oh wait, it fits. So that's honestly something that's really important that you guys should know as well. And so yeah, that's something that's really important. This is honestly the most important part I want to share with you guys, because I haven't heard about this anywhere. And I assure you, I took the mount off the car right now just for this demonstration purposes, but it fits perfectly with the RM54, and then it lines up perfectly with the bolts in the cross member, and the cross member still bolts in just fine, which is very unusual. Was not expecting that, but it does work. Besides all those things I mentioned, there's not too much you have to worry about. Of course, you will have to worry about doing the drive shaft. In my case, if I recall correct, I measured mine at 56 and a half inches. I'm going to remeasure it again just to make sure. But again, I'm using an RM54, so you guys can go off a base off that, but I would not order a drive shaft just off me telling you guys that. An important thing as well, when I talk about the drive shaft, is that, not sure. An important thing to know, an important thing to mention now that we're talking about the drive shaft, is that what a lot of companies, or what some companies will have, is they have an adapter so you can use a traditional U-joint on the differential. So for those of you who don't know, the differentials on these cars come with 3 bolts in the shape of a triangle, so it's really just like that. There's no like U-joint, just 3, and there's like a rubber little bushing between. I think they call it a Guibo, which is an interesting name, but it is what it is. And what you can buy is you can buy an adapter that converts those 3 holes to a conventional 4-bolt adapter that we can use a U-joint, which is significantly easier to maintain, and it's just kind of a better thing to use in general. So when you order your drive shaft, keep in mind that you should probably buy that part first. Or if you're ordering from like Drift Motion, you can just tell them the whole like length, and then you're ordering that little bolt or the little adapter, and they'll make it and size it up correctly. Now, as a final little part of this video, what I want to mention is the wiring portion of this. Because all you really need to do to get this car running is you need to jump the neutral safety switch. In which all you need to do is you go to one of the transmission plugs, you get the biggest wires going to both of them, you cut them, and you jump them together, and the car thinks it's neutral. Now, now with that, that's all you need to do to get it running. However, if you do that, you're going to have your dashboard look like a complete Christmas tree, which is not going to be pretty, but it will run, and you're going to be completely unnoticeable. But if you really want to do it right, I'm going to put a picture of everything right now, and it's called an ATEMU. It stands for Automatic Transmission Emulator. You can get them for around $100, and you can also get these other things called resistors that you wire in as part of it. And with those 2 things, once you splice them into your computer or your engine harness, they actually remove all the associated transmission codes that come with a manual swap. So I have one order for my car. I actually still need to fire in the wiring diagram to the ECU, the pinout in and of itself. That way I know exactly which ones to cut. When you order it, it tells you like, okay, this goes to here, this goes to there, this goes to there. But it doesn't tell you how it's supposed to look on the car you're putting it on. Because they kind of leave that up to you to figure it out. So say if you're doing an IS300, what you need to do is look up an ECU pinout for an IS300 of your year. And then you cut whatever wires you need to go to. And then you use the map that they give you with the ATEMU, and you kind of put them together. So, okay, this goes to here, this goes to there, this goes to there, and vice versa. So if you're doing on one of these cars, I know there's more information on the pre-2002 cars, because they use a different wiring for the ECU. So on a 2002, which this one is, I'm kind of screwed a little bit, because it's more of a pain in the ass to find the info that I need. But that's something that's worth looking into. It's not a need, but for those of you wanting to get rid of all your engine codes, you can. And I'm going to do it. I'd recommend it. So that's like the ATEMU, that's part of the things. And then it comes with 3 resistors. And those you can buy 3 resistors. And I'm going to put a company right here that has everything you can look for that in particular. And those little additional resistors you can buy will also get rid of they'll get rid of the very last amount of codes that you need to. Because they remove some, I forget exactly what they do exactly, but they just jump the last little thing. So that, but though between having the ATEMU and that, you will have literally everything cleared in your car. I'm pretty sure it'll even pass smog, because the transmission of the engine won't know any different. But as for that, that's pretty much everything I can mention right now. I'm gonna start vlogging more on this build. That way I can kind of just, I wanted to lay everything out and just know how things are gonna go together and figure out all the big bugs. That way I can do like more informative videos and kind of like just give more information. But if you guys want to have know more about the build, feel free to message me on Instagram, and I'll put that right here. It's no worries, no worries. I forget what it's. I think it's No Worries Media. My personal one's Frankie Torres. If you guys want to, you can hit me up on either one. If you have questions for any of these swaps, I've been doing research for months about this, so I think I'm fairly well knowledgeable about it. I'm still figuring out shit every day, but if you guys want to follow along, I encourage you guys to. I'm still gonna build this thing up. I want to build it to a drift car, as you can tell, with a massive bash bar in the front, and it's gonna be an interesting little build. So follow along. I hope you guys like the video. If you guys have any questions, feel free to comment down below or message me. Ask them away, and please like and follow and support my channel. It means a lot to me. But other than that, hope you guys have a good day. So deuces, don't.